Okay, let's dive into the players. Sobel, who do you like?
I'm going Max Homa. Number 2 on the PGA Tour this season in strokes gained total. You've got to do everything really well around this golf course, as we've found over the last 20 years or so, with such a variety of winners from superstars to no names, old guys, young guys, big hitters, short hitters, good ball strikers, good putters. So I like the fact that Homa has a complete game. He also led the field last week, only finished 14th at the API, but led the field in strokes gained approach shots. That's a really good sign, I think, moving forward. And he's proven he knows how to close too. I didn't give him enough credit, John. For a couple of years, I was like, well, it's a feel-good story. He's good on social media. He likes, roasting some swings on Twitter and having fun with that. I didn't give him credit for just how good he is, how good he's become. 6 career PGA Tour wins now. He's stared down some really big names. I think it's time for him to win a big one. Hasn't finished top 10 at a major yet, but I do think a big win is coming for him. Could be this week.
And maybe it's because he's a little older, but he's clearly really comfortable playing around the superstars, right? You can put him with Rory and he's fine. You can put him with Rahm and he's fine. And historically, you've been around this longer than I have. Not everyone's at his level, right? Like the fringe top 10 guy, comfortable with being around those. He like thrives in that environment.
Right. Yeah, he really does. He's going to get a few of them this week. What was it? Is he with Spieth and JT, maybe?
Yeah, that's his group.
Remembering correctly. I don't love the number, John. Depending on the book, he's 20-1, 22-1. Here's a little tip for those out there that might want to jump on Homa. He's in an afternoon tee time. We've got Rory, Rahm, Scheffler, at least in one grouping, some other big time groups going out in the morning. Maybe you don't even bet them until noon Eastern time on Thursday after some of those guys are off the course. Let's say Rahm shoots 64, Rory shoots 66, Scheffler shoots 67. All of a sudden, their odds get shorter. What that does, everybody else gets a little bit longer. Maybe you grab Homa. I'm not saying he's going to be 50-1. Maybe you can grab him at 25-1 instead of 20-1, and you get a little extra juice there.
If I told you I'll give you $3,000, you can spread it around everyone, but you can't touch Rory, Scotty, or Rahm, or you can just place $1,000 bets on those three guys. And just you could argue not just this tournament, but all the majors moving forward. Isn't that the play? Because every week, I mean, 2 of the 3 of them are right there. Rory showed signs of life. Scheffler's floor now is so high. I'm not going to touch either 3 of them, but I mean, I'm prepared for 2 of them to be in the mix come the weekend.
I'm taking the other side of that. If you're letting me spread money around on Chantley and Xander and Morikawa and JT, I mean, these are really good world-class players. I know that right now it seems like there's a big 3 and then the rest of them. My guess is that by midsummer, we're like, no, there's a big 5 now because these 2 guys have separated from the rest. Again, I mean, Finau, Homa, who we mentioned, Sungjae Im is better than a lot of people realize. There's a lot of really, really good players. I almost hesitate to call them the next tier after those top 3 because there's not much difference between them. Those 3 are definitely the 3 best right now. That can change. And, certainly Justin Thomas, who's won here in the past 2 years ago, he's got 7 for 7 making the cut at this event. Justin Thomas can certainly go win this week. And all of a sudden the narrative changes from big 3 to a big 4 almost immediately.
Yeah, I have a wager this week on JT. I hit it a couple years ago when he won. Other 2 guys, I mean, I think Jason Day is a pretty sexy pick. I know you wrote about him in your column. Just he's playing really well. He's had success here before. It feels like not if, but when. And it's just, his odds, I like him a little more like 45-1 than once he creeps up 30-1. But still, I feel pretty good about him.
Another guy with an afternoon tee time, maybe the same strategy as I suggested with Homa. Just wait. And I'm not saying wait till he makes 4 bogeys. It's wait until before he tees off, and maybe some guys go low. Should be perfect conditions out here on Thursday morning. So some guys go low in the morning. Their odds get shorter. Maybe he gets a little bit longer before he even tees off. So there's one strategy. And 4 straight top 10s for Jason Day. Even if you don't want to play him outright, I really like playing him for a top 10 this week. And I think every DFS lineup that I've made has Jason Day in there already.
I feel like Keegan's got to be, a sexy top 10 bet right now. He's playing the best golf of his life. He's almost won this last year.
Had him on the radio show yesterday. He said he's very infrequently during his career come to a tournament and been good. He said usually it's I got to tweak the driver a little bit. I'm going to put a new wedge in the bag. Let me work with a couple different putters. Let me see about the loft here, the lie there. He said, I showed up this week and everything's perfect. And he can't wait to get out there. So very bullish on Keegan as well.
Two more names. Rickie Fowler, former winner here. Pretty decent odds. You can put
Same.
$20, $30 on him and get a chance. And last but not least, I mean, this guy, he's been injured. A couple years ago was playing fantastic golf. I mean, was somehow came out of nowhere last week. Harris English. I did look at his tournament history here. It's not great for being a guy from the South, but he's just a guy that has some win equity and a high-end ceiling. What are your thoughts on Harris?
Yeah, I'm not ready to get after Harris for a second straight title contention. He was great last week. No bogeys on the weekend at Bay Hill is really, really good. I'm not quite ready to jump on Harris for another title contention, but I think this gives us hope moving forward for him. The only problem is it's moved the odds much shorter as well. You could have had Harris at some events early in the year at 150 to 1. Now he's going to be in double digits moving forward just because he's shown that form.
I think I have a betting philosophy after the last couple. Viktor Hovland, no more picking him to win. No, I like him to top 10, and he's going to be in the mix. His floor's high, but just you can't. I mean, the guy pumps it in the water, the chipping. It's a hold on for your ass. It's incredible how good he is with some of his flaws, is it not?
Correct. I'm totally with you there. I've never seen. Now, granted, the around the greens numbers have gotten much better this season. The last season he was dead last on the PGA Tour. I've never seen a top 10 player who had one glaring weakness the way that Viktor Hovland does. Maybe you look at, Tiger back in the day with driving accuracy, or some Phil with driving accuracy. That's not like having a strokes gained stat where you're like, not just in the middle of the pack, not, towards about the dead last player on the PGA Tour. That's where he was in strokes gained around the greens. It's almost a testament to how good everything else is tee to green, because he is a top 10 player in the world and has been for a while.
Do you think LIV, I mean, some of the guys that are just stalwarts has taken away from this tournament a little bit, or do you feel it is as powerful as ever?
No, I mean, look, there's an Australian flag flying as it does every single year for the defending champion. So no one with the PGA Tour is going to mention his name, but that Aussie flag is out there, not too far from where I'm sitting right now. And everyone knows that Cameron Smith is the reigning champion. The fact that he's not here, it's weird. It takes away from the golf tournament. I'm not suggesting that they should have given him some sort of exemption and let him back into the field. He knew what he was getting into when he left the PGA Tour for LIV, but is it strange? Yeah, absolutely. It's strange this week.
Well, if you can, and I'll come out and meet you next week, get us a $5,000 tee time sometime at TPC Sawgrass next week, and let's go play.
I'll grab the sticks right now. All we got to do is hit some Homa bets, and we're right out here.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have a good week. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.